Yo, what's up? In this video I'm going to review the 2021 Model 3 long range, and I've been driving it 10,000 kilometers over 1 month. That's actually quite a lot. So this video will be towards people who are thinking about buying a Tesla for the first time, but also people who already has maybe a Model 3, the previous version without the heat pump, or maybe you have Model S and X and then you consider going to Model 3. So let's start now with the external. So in the front we have this frunk, a very spacious frunk, and actually compared to the previous one, it's now easier to close it. You don't have to use that much force to close it. And then in the rear we have now motorized lift gate. So very useful in winter when the trunk, the lift gate is very dirty, then you don't have to touch it. You can just open and close it via the app. And then very nice and spacious trunk also. I'm missing 12-volt outlet there though, but okay. Lots of pockets to put stuff, and also this lid under the trunk, very nice and big, so you can put even more luggage in there. And then the rear seats, very good, good space, okay headroom, not the best, but okay, this is a sedan, but still pretty good. And also legroom is also good. And we have this middle console to put your cups there, or extra armrest, but there is no ski opening though, so that's a little bummer. And the front also has nice and spacious interior, electric adjustable seats, electric adjustable steering wheel also, and lots of pockets to put all your stuff in it. For a long trip you need to put water bottle, phone, whatever accessories. You can find places to put them in. There's also a nice central console with space in there. And also now with the new center console, you have this dual wireless charger pad. Really nice, it charges fast, and also this is the only EV I know that has a double charge pad wirelessly. Other cars I've tested only has one charge pad. And also we have USB-C in the front, 2 of them, and also 2 more in the back, and these are fast. I measure it to be really fast to charge. They say 27 watts, so as long as you use a USB-C, it will be really good. And I think you can also charge laptops with it. And there's also one USB-C in the glove box that is used for the dash cam and center mode. So that's also a nice feature with Tesla, that you have built-in dash cam that saves into the USB stick, and also center mode that protects you in case someone bumps into your car when you're not there. Then you can go back and look at the footage and see what happened. So many people have been saved by other people dented the car and they found out who it was. So really nice. And also, okay, now I should talk about the things I don't like about this car. So with the new model now, you have metal scroll wheels. That surface on the old one is with rubber, and the rubber was superb. I don't know why they changed it. Now we have metal, and it tends to slip, because I use these a lot when I adjust volume or adjust adaptive cruise control speed, and they slip all the time. And another problem is the sun visors. They replaced the sun visor like attachment point with magnet instead, and the old one was working fine. The new one, every time I try to pivot it, it tends to detach from the magnet, so it's kind of clumsy. I mean, no problem really, but it just gives the wrong feel when I use the car. And also when you drive at night, the center console light might be a little bit too bright. But you could just close the lid and then it's gone. But it should have been angled maybe more downwards and not be that strong. Yeah. And I have to say, this car has really good sound system. It has lots of speakers, and just the way they've been tuned. So, you know, Tesla doesn't brand this as something like most other car manufacturers. No, they have Bang & Olufsen or Infinity, or Harman Kardon, or something nice like Burmester. No, but this one is delivered by S1NN, and also Tesla hired a former Bang & Olufsen engineer, if I remember correctly, to pick the right components for the speakers, for the sound system. So it sounds wonderful, but the way they did it, Tesla, is that they haven't used any name for it. So that's why they also avoid very expensive branding. I don't know how it works, but it's just not like, it's not no name, but it's S1NN, and it sounds marvelous. And then as for soundproofing, this car has double glazed window, at least in the front, and many people anticipated it would be way better, but it wasn't actually that much different. But the previous Model 3 was known to be kind of noisy, and I feel like, okay, this one is still a little bit noisy, but not as bad as the old one. So they have done something in the wheel arches. Maybe they changed some of the frequency response, so it doesn't have the higher frequency, so it's more deeper sound, but it's still, okay, not the most quiet one, not as good as a German car, but at least I feel like it's getting slightly better than before. And then as for ride comfort, again, the old one was also, I mean, Tesla Model 3 doesn't have the best comfort and suspension, but on the other hand, it just rides really sporty and it's blistering fast. That's what Tesla is known for. But as for ride comfort, if you are used to a German car, this feeling in the steering wheel, the feeling in the suspension, you come here, you will feel a little bit disappointed. But on the other hand, if you've been driving this car for a while, you get used to it. So it's not like it's bad, it just feels different. But on the other hand, if I've been driving the Tesla for a while on the Model 3 and I sit in, let's say, an I-Pace or something, I feel like those cars are heavy, and they are heavy. So this thing rides like a go-kart. That's the cool thing about it. And also, one concern many people might have is that how it's going to be with the one big screen to have everything in there, you know. I found it to be great. You know, I used to have a Tesla Model S and also X that also has a conventional instrument cluster. And in the beginning, I didn't like the big screen in the Model 3. But as I used it, I learned to get used to it and to like it, because it's actually more convenient to have everything in one screen. You don't have to, your eyes don't have to scan between several screens. And Tesla managed to design it well, so it works great, and you can still at any time see the speed you're going, what kind of light settings you have. All that information is already available there. Plus, of course, very good infotainment system. So yes, I should also mention the infotainment in Tesla is just outstanding. The way they have designed it, and not only because it has a big screen, but they have utilized the big screen quite well. And also Tesla has been going through many years of development when it comes to the UI. So they have refined and improved, added new features and refined it again. So the infotainment you find today is just one of the best, or actually my claim is it's the best I have tried. The second best might be Polestar, but you know, yeah, but really good infotainment. Once you get used to it, it's actually nice. And also the nice thing about the Tesla infotainment is that many things are self-explanatory and very intuitive, so you don't have to look into the manual to figure out what everything does. Okay, and there are some shortcuts to do stuff like change wiper settings, but you know, if you look in the forums, you can find out how those extra shortcuts work, and then the experience will be even better. But even if you don't know about those shortcuts, it's still nice and easy to operate the car. And as a bonus, okay, I mentioned Sentry Mode. It has so many features, this car. You can also play games with it. You can watch videos, YouTube, or whatever your favorite is. You have a Spotify account you can link to it. So there's almost endless. But okay, there's also some fart mode or whatever, but I don't care too much about those. But and also the app in this car is super stable. I've been owning Tesla for 7.5 years now, and the app in Tesla is just the most stable I have ever seen. Other cars tend to have somewhat unstable at some times, and also the app on other cars might not look as nice as Tesla, so very good plus there. And also the headlights on this car, okay, exactly, this car doesn't have the best headlights, but right around this time when the car was delivered, they started shipping out new headlights, and I tested the headlights in the performance, and that's the one the long race is also getting nowadays, and those headlights are amazing. Okay, not as good again as Tesla, I mean not as good as Polestar, but still really good compared to the old one. So Tesla has been known for in the past to have not so great headlights, but now with the new one it's better. However, I'm still missing headlight washers, because in Norway in winter you get lots of schmutz on the light, and then after 1 or 2 hours in driving in slush, then you have worse output, but then you have to clean it manually, so that's a little bit bummer. But the biggest advantage with the Model 3 is the efficiency now with a heat pump, because Tesla has some really nice and smart engineering where it recycles or reuses the heat from the battery to heat up the cabin. And I've tested this car in some extreme temperatures, down to minus 26 degrees, and also some high-speed runs at minus 16 degrees Celsius. And this car performs outstanding. I never seen efficiency like this before in really cold winter. So it has something to do with the octovalve and the way they design it, because some people might say that they've been having heat pump in their car for the longest time. Yeah, but Tesla did, I don't know what they did, but they engineered the octovalve and the heat pump in the Tesla to be really good, and so that the efficiency in a Tesla in winter, in even cold winter, actually beats many other cars in summer. That's how efficient the car is. And also Tesla uses some nice preheating algorithm. When you navigate to a fast charger or a supercharger, it starts preheating the battery, so you get faster charging speed, and you don't. This car doesn't really cold get that much. That's the term I used for when a car charges slowly in winter, because the battery is too cold and it doesn't really heat it up in time. So remember that. What is important for an EV? Well, many people who don't want to buy EV nowadays, the reason why they don't buy it might be because it's too expensive. And Model 3 is fairly affordable. It's not as expensive as S and X. And especially if you look at the total cost of ownership, because a Model 3, because it's efficient and you have access to supercharger network, it becomes really cheap to drive in the daily. Daily you probably just charge at home anyway, but even if you go on a long trip, you have so much lower driving cost versus a fossil car or some other EVs where you have to charge on other charging networks and where you have to spend more energy. But so remember, guys, the reason why many people don't buy EVs nowadays is the cars doesn't have enough range. It charges too slow, and you don't know where to charge it. Well, guess what? Tesla Model 3 has it all. It has good range, it charges blistering fast, and you can charge almost anywhere. With the supercharger network, it's so easy to use. You have good coverage over Europe, all over Europe, and Model 3 can also use all the other networks like Ionity or Fortum or Fastnet or whatever is out there. So really, I've been driving Tesla for a long time, but also I've been driving my Model 3 and then this Model 3, and getting around Europe, or at least now because of COVID, getting around Norway is not a problem at all, really. I've been also using fossil cars in the past, and switching over to electric was actually, well, in the old days, okay, it was some compromise, but that was 8 years ago. But today, Tesla's supercharger network and Tesla's cars are charging so fast and they are so efficient that you don't feel the difference between driving a fossil car or driving an electric, except for that the Tesla is faster than fossil car. You have nice features like preheating, like Sentry mode or whatever, like so much good. You can idle the car while you're waiting something for, I don't know, without locally polluting. So in my opinion, the Tesla Model 3 is better than many fossil cars, and the whole range anxiety is non-existent, at least for Model 3. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to sum up and say that okay, if you have the old Model 3 and you consider buying the new one, should you move over to the new one? Because yeah, we heard some problems with heat pump failing. Well, Tesla is fixing that on warranty, of course. And also we heard that the new Model 3 charges slower. Well, yeah, it charges slower, but I believe that they're going to speed it up. But even when it charges slower today, because of the increased efficiency and the heat pump, especially in winter, then the travel time is more or less the same. It might be slightly slower, but you don't really notice it, and it might just be a matter of minutes really on a long trip. So should you get one? Yes, I recommend getting the new one because it has so many nice features. Okay, like I mentioned, it has a little bit weird, like I don't like the new scroll wheel or the magnet thing, but it's not that big deal. And some of these other issues, you can overcome them. But like the new center console, okay, it's not as open and spacious as the old one, but just the fact that you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 5 power outlet ports, because 2 of them are for charging phone, 2 USB-C, and then 1 for the Sentry mode. In my own car, my old car, I only had 2 USB-A ports. 1 needed to always be used for the Sentry mode, and then that left me with only 1 charge port left, and I had to tap into the rear one here. And fortunately I don't have kids yet, but you can see that we have a little bit too few power outlets in the old one. So it's basically 2 on the old one versus 5 in the new one. So that's a big upgrade. And also the motorized liftgate is also very nice, especially if you live in a place where it gets dirty. And what else? Yeah, as for battery size, it's more or less the same, actually slightly smaller. It depends if you go for performance or not. If you go for performance, it's then 3 kilowatt hour larger. But and then what about if you have another EV and you considered switching over to Tesla? Because you heard about the roof falling off, about bumpers falling off. Well, you know, that happened with just a few cars. And just to mention that other cars also have their issues, like e-tron leaking water from the panorama roof, e-tron charge port is stuck, ionic door handle just breaks all the time, very common problem. I could just go on about Polestar getting emergency breakdowns and 12-volt problems, and they have to get rescued by flatbed all the time. ID3 is having software issues and the Windows just fogging, and you know, there are lots and lots of problems with other cars also. But you hear about the problems with Tesla because Tesla seems to be some kind of, I don't know, people just want to make fun of them, or no, it just seems like every bad news about Tesla will be spread out big time, but then bad news about other cars tend to not be mentioned. So just ask yourself, are there really that many bumpers falling off and roofs falling off and rust problems? Tesla sold 500,000 cars last year, and a big majority of them were actually Model 3s. So if this was a really common problem, you will have, you know, it will be completely Texas all over the world about this, and it wasn't. It was just a few cases. So I wouldn't, and also I've also been looking on the different groups, and I don't see this happening in Norway or the groups I hang out at. Oh no, just yet another bumper fell off, or oh no, we have more rust problems. No, it's just FUD. Yeah, FUD. So you should instead try to find out yourself, is this a really big problem? And also try to listen to people who actually had great experience like me. I've been driving my Model 3 for a long time, and also this car I'm sitting in now for 1 month, no problem at all. It's been working great. Okay, there's one problem. You see the tire pressure problem. That is a mistake from Tesla, because Tesla start using Bluetooth sensors now in the cars, but then they did a mistake and put on the wheels with the old type of sensors. That's why we get the communication error, but they're gonna sort it out. But it's not really any problem with the car really. So yeah, and so if you consider switching from whatever brand you have to a Tesla, then it might be harder for me to convince you that this is a good buy, because you might have your preference about quality, about ride feel, about comfort, and so it might not be the best car for you, that's to be honest, but if you can live with the shortcomings, then I say that it's going to be one of the best EVs and the best cars you will ever own if you switch to one. But again, you probably have to borrow it from a neighbor or some Tesla showroom to see if you are convinced or not. But again, the bottom line is that this Model 3, it's just, how to put this, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. It's not perfect, but I highly recommend it. Yeah, and this is not only, I'm not saying this as Teslabjorn or because I own a Tesla myself. I've been testing lots of cars out there. Volvo, Polestar, EQC, Ioniq, Zoe, Xpeng. I've been testing so many cars out there, and I always come back to the same conclusion that what is the most important things today? Well, range, charging speed, charging network, efficiency, and this car has it all. So I think that's going to be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later.